you can just meet Dr. Jayantilal ji. He is there. I welcome sir.
Hello,
Sir,
sir.
on behalf of the Department of Jainology, University of Madras, I extend a warm welcome to our very own Dr. Jayantilal Jain, who is an alumni of the department, who is an alumni of the university. He's done his PhD, The Pure Soul and Its Infinite Treasure, that you all read. Samay Sar is authored by him. And behind those books, the Pravachan Sar, Samay Sar books, you have his introduction. And he doesn't need an introduction in the department. He's a part of the department. So now, and he's going to talk about Chhah Dhaalaa today. Sir is a PhD in economics. He's worked with many illustrious bodies, and he's at Mangalayatan University right now, guiding researchers and teaching there. So I welcome sir on behalf of the department, staff and students. सर को आप co-host बना दीजिए, उनको spotlight कर दीजिए. And thank you Jinesh for all the for taking out time and helping the students.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
so
your
much. Lecture. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So now over to sir. All zapped attention, and he's going to summarize Chhah Dhaalaa for us.
Yeah, ma'am, before that, just I can take 1 second. I want to say, sir, something.
Yes. कौन बोल रहा है?
आवाज नहीं आई शीतल जी आपकी.
शीतल, you're not audible. Sir, ये आपका screen है.
हाँ जी.
I thought I will share the screen. Is it okay?
हाँ
Yes,
sir.
That will facilitate.
Sir, there are many people in the group who have not heard of Chhah Dhaalaa.
Yeah.
And there are many people who have studied it umpteen number of times.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed crowd.
Okay, no problem. Try to be as simple as possible. At the same time, talk about certain things. Okay. I thought as we discussed, we'll discuss Chhah Dhaalaa from the point of view of yoga and sadhana.
Huh.
What are kind of things that are necessary for a yoga and sadhana? Yoga or sadhana cannot be just like that. So that's what we are going to discuss. I will be as simple as possible, and if possible, you can ask questions in between also if you don't follow a particular things. Okay. So let us start with the Mangalacharan that is there in Chhah Dhaalaa. Or let me say first Mangalacharan, then we'll discuss about it. तीन वन में सार वीतराग विज्ञानता शिव स्वरूप शिवकार नमो त्रियोग संभारिका. Anyway, so this is the Chhah Dhaalaa. Chhah means, of course, you understand 6, and Dhaalaa, Dhal means a shield to protect ourselves. Policemen, when they meet the crowd and like that, when people are throwing stones or even attacking them, they use the shield. Same thing in olden wars also. In a war scenario also, they use the Dhal. So it is a device to protect us.
Sir, आपका volume बहुत slow है sir.
अच्छा. Hello.
आपको repeat करना पड़ेगा sir.
Okay. Is it okay now?
हाँ sir, हाँ sir.
Okay, maybe I was a little away from it. So the book Chhah Dhaalaa, which means 6 types of protections that we can have. And it is originally written by Pandit Daulat Ramji about roughly about 300 years ago. And this is known as say little Samay Sar or mini Samay Sar, or anybody who wants to understand about Jain philosophy in brief. In 6 small chapters, he has summarized the essence of Jain philosophy. Dhal, as I was just trying to explain, Dhal means a shield to protect ourselves. And in the same way, if you do yoga and sadhana and like that, this is how one has to protect oneself. Or even as a Jain, we have to protect ourselves on the path to moksha. So it is called 6 because it is divided into 6 chapters. And that's how the whole thing is all about. And about introduction, we can, other things also we can say that it is not in a yoga sadhana context. It is not the physical thing that is more important for yoga and like that, but it is the mental state of affairs that's most important. And that's why the yoga comes. And in this first Mangalacharan itself, the word yoga has come, Tri-yoga has come. So I will try to, okay, let me first more introduction before, because some of you may not have heard about it. Daulat Ramji lived somewhere where I am living now at present, near Aligarh, a place called Sasni, which where he was born and lived for a long time. And it is about 25 kilometers from where I am at the moment in the Mangalatan University. And he was a great scholar, Jain scholar. And then he lived a simple life as far as his profession was concerned, but he was so sharp. And whatever he has written, that has become a landmark. And it is being recited by everybody. Like most of the Jains now who study Chhah, they remember by heart the whole of the book and like that. And even we have been teaching this Dhaalaa for many years. So many of the things just by heart we can recite and like that. And it is referred in so many thousands of pravachananas of scholars, monks, Jain munis, and so on. It has become a household text. Sometimes, hello?
Oh, please mute everybody, no?
Okay.
Yes, please continue, sir.
Sir, I request you to unmute yourself, sir. And I request everybody to please be on mute.
Okay, okay. Now it's okay. Now, can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
very good. So this is how about the author and what he did, and he has written so many poems, bhajans, and so many things like that. So he's a great Jain scholar. And if you want to learn anything in brief in Jain philosophy, this is the text that one should refer to it. And I think I will just stop with that introduction. Then what is this Chhah? 6 chapters. Dhal means chapters also. Dhal means protection, how to protect ourselves. So there are 6 ways of protecting oneself. And in the first chapter, what he says is that why we are in this world, okay? What wrong we have done so that we are suffering in this world. So that type of question has been answered in the first chapter. And if you interpret that in terms of yoga and then why we not what we have not done so that we have to suffer. So that way we can say that. And in the second chapter, there is a kind of diagnosis that why sufferings. First chapter talks about sufferings in all the 4 modes, charo gatiyon mein, how we have suffered and continue to suffer. That's the first chapter. Then the second chapter is diagnosis kind of a things. What is that we have done, or what is wrong that we have done? So that is discussed in the second chapter. And of course, the answer is that we have a false belief, mithya darshan, mithya gyan, and mithya charitra, wrong belief, wrong knowledge, and wrong conduct. And that's why we have been in this particular world. And so that kind of analysis is given. And in the third chapter, what is the path to liberation? How to prepare ourselves from yogic life and like that. So it starts with saying that what is Samyak Darshan and Samyak Gyan, those kind of things have been discussed. very simple way in which he has discussed. Otherwise, the topic of Samyak Darshan is very complicated and a lot of elaborations are possible. But we will see how, in a very simple manner, he has narrated those kind of things. And in the 4th chapter, again, the same thing continues. He talks more about right knowledge and partial conduct. And then in the 5th chapter, he talks about the 12 reflections, Bhara Bhavana, which is a transition to a higher stage of yoga. And in the 6th chapter, he really talks about the life of a monk, life of a yogi, and how a person can achieve liberation or moksha. So that's how these 6 chapters are there. We can divide 3 chapters to remember ourselves in 3 parts. One is, first and 2 are about sufferings and why sufferings. First chapters, 1st and 2nd chapter. 3rd and 4th are in terms of path to liberation for the households or in a lower status, lower gunstans, if you know the concept of gunstan. And then the 5th chapter is about transition, how a person can transit, change oneself through 12 reflections to a higher state of yoga or towards a higher state of gunstans and like that. And the real crux of Jain philosophy is given in the 6th chapters. So that's how it comes. I repeat again so that you can remember. First 2 chapters talk about sufferings and why sufferings in this life and the lives so far. And the 3rd and 4th talk about the path to liberation as applied to households and other people. The 5th is, of course, as I said, is about 12 reflections and like that. So it can also be included as a path to moksha or path to liberation. And the 6th is the life of a monk, how, or life of a yoga or yogi life, so that one can really achieve this. So this is how the 6 chapters comes, which can be divided into 3 parts and we can easily understand. To summarize again, because I go forward now, that sufferings and why sufferings, that's one part. Second part is path to liberations, where the 3rd and 4th chapters are there, or 5th chapter can also be included there. And the last one is the yoga meditation and how a Jain monk elevates himself and achieves a state of arhant and state of liberation, that is siddha or moksha. So that's how it all starts. Okay, now we'll start briefly the first part. So I will just try to take this Mangalacharan, the meaning of Mangalacharan, which is very fantastic, and it is so much of importance for all of us. He says the Teen Bhuvan mein sar means in the 3 parts of the universe, that is the entire universe. In the entire universe, if there is any sar, a sense of all the preachings in the entire universe is vitragta, detachment we call it, or giving up passions and so many things, not having a rag. And so he says it is the Vijnanata word he has used. That means the science of, we call it science of detachment or science of liberation or science of getting away from attachments in life and like that. So such a powerful word he used. And in the second line is even more powerful than the first one. The second one says Shiva Sarup Shivakara. Shiva Sarup means Shiva means moksha. Shiva means liberated state. So Shiva Sarup, this Vitrag Vijnanta, or this whatever is said in this book, or the path to moksha that has been elaborated or explained in Jain philosophy or in this particular book, that itself is Shiva Sarup. It is the nature of moksha. And one who knows it, one who knows the Shiva Sarup, that is, one who knows the God or Bhagavan, then that art is, he is a Shivakar. Like we use the word Kalakar, Natakar, like that. So many things we say. Kar means one who is expert in that particular field. So one who knows the nature of the soul, or one who understands the Siddha Paramatma, he becomes a Shivakar, he becomes expert in it. In simple way, I put it this way, in some lectures I've been saying like that, that you cannot become Bhagavan without knowing your own self, without knowing the nature of our own soul. It is not possible to become Bhagavan, whatever liberated. Bhagavan means the liberated state. So you know first yourself and the art of knowing yourself. So Shivasura art is you know yourself. If you know yourself, that knowledge itself is enough to get liberated or to achieve a state of liberation. The only condition is the last thing is Namo Triyoga Sambharike. Means all yoga type of thing, Triyoga. Man Vachan Kaya, as we always use it. So this you pay attention to this thing. I mean, take care of your Triyoga, mind, speech, and body, and then you can achieve the state of liberation. So, how to become Bhagavan, how to become Arhant and Siddh, that art itself is put it in these two lines. And of course, if we want to discuss long, this whole first Mangalacharan itself can be discussed for a long time. Like that. So, in this picture, it has been sort of the essence, no? Sar, Teen Bhuvan mein Sar. So, essence, as we take it out, whatever ghee from milk or curd and like that, in the same way, the essence of whatever has been taught in Jain philosophy, that is, whatever has been taught by omniscient, Sarvagya, Arhant, that is contained in this kind of a philosophy. So that's what is trying to explain it. Then the second thing that we should know about it, at least here, is that two things are there. First is that, of course, all people are unhappy. That's what has been said here. And so in the third stanza, what is seen, Tahi suno bhavi man thiran, jo chaho apno kalyan. So if we want our own welfare, we want to improve ourselves or to achieve whatever liberation, salvation, or embark on the path of moksha, then we have to understand this thing very carefully. And so that's how the whole thing is described in this. The whole story of our infinite transmigration is explained in first line here or second line. Tas Brahman ki hai bahu katha. That means that we have been, it is a story of our own self. What is the story of our own self? That our story is too big, too long, because we are here in this universe for infinite times in the past and will continue to be there in infinite in future. So if we continue about, or if we talk about the present state, then our past has been, our biodata, call it like that, our biodata has been very bad. And that biodata has been told by knowledgeable people to us. And the biodata starts with Kala Anant Nigod Maja. We have been all staying in the Nigod for infinite times in the past. And if it's some good luck, we have come out of it. And if we do not have some darshan, we will again go back to the same state. That point would have been emphasized in so many lectures. And I will put it that way in a very simple way, that what is our permanent address in this universe? So if we want to make a permanent address, it is a liberation, state of moksha. But if we don't want it, by default, we'll go to Nigod. We complete a particular cycle of 2000 sagar plus time. And after that, we, by default, will go to Nigod. So we have all come from Nigod and we'll go back to Nigod if we don't listen to what has been said here very carefully. Or in simple word, if you don't follow the Jain principles, it is not possible to get liberation and people will go back to the Nigod. So if anybody wants to save ourselves from Nigod, you understand, no? Nigodiya life and like that. I hope it must be clear since you are doing master's degree and like that. And so the story goes, you become one sense, two sense, ek indriya, do indriya, teen indriya, things like that. The story goes on. I will not go into detail because there are all types of life that is must have read somewhere. You can read this book. It is very good book. Now it has been presented with pictures and simple language and like that. So in all the four modes of life, the type of sufferings we had in, say, Narka, in the hell, the type of sufferings we have in human beings, type of sufferings we see in animal life, and types of suffering that we see in the heavenly life. Those all things have been described, and I need not go into detail, but I will just take this one. Okay, last 16 stanza. This is first chapter's last stanza, which says, "Jo viman vasi hu tha, samyak darshan binad kapar." We think that people in the heaven will be very happy. And we say with pride that people go to heaven or will go to heaven, or somebody has died. We always say that he has gone to heaven. Swargavas ho gaya. But heavenly life is not good at all. There are so many things that we can be said about the heavenly people, heavenly beings. But the only thing which says we can tell that when they are about to die, for 6 months they keep on weeping, okay, having tears, because they know from their whatever little of the gyan they have that they are going to be born in a very in Ekendriya or something like that, if they don't have Samyak Darshan. So that kind of a fear, suppose if somebody tells us that, okay, next life will be born as a tree or some one sense life, then how good or bad we will feel. That is the kind of a situation where we feel that we are the most happy people and the beings in the universe. They are also Samyak Darshan. Without the right faith, they suffer like all other people, and that's how from there they fall down, and then Parivartan, Panch Paravartan, you would have heard the word. If 5 types of transformations that takes place. So that we have been doing. In simple words, what it means that there is no place in the universe where we have not been born. There are no karmic substances or atoms that we have not assumed as a body. And there is no time in which we have not been born. Sometimes, people, times are bad, times are not bad. We are bad. So anyway, so like that in Dravya Kshetra, Kal, Bhav and Bhav, all the 5 paravartans, transformations we complete and then keep on doing that day. And that's why the picture shows that even the heavenly people are not happy. So that is the story of the first chapter, that we have been suffering all through in all lives. Then in the second dhal, it says that reason for sufferings in transmigratory cycle. So that's the second dhal. And so the first line itself says that Mithya Draga Jnana Charanvash Brahmat Bharat Dukha Janma Marana Take Inkut Jye Sujan Sunitin Sanksheep Kahu Bakhan. The essence of that is that it is our misbelief. Okay? We don't believe. If we believe correctly in whatever it exists, okay. In simple words, if we believe what are the 6 substances and what are the tattvas, if we understand them well, and what is the soul like, okay, and what are the characteristics of the soul, properties of the soul, if we understand that, then we get Samyak Darshan, and then the process of transmigration is reduced or stopped for that. I mean, after a few births, one can achieve liberation. So unless we improve that correction, if we do it, that without that correction, the people or the souls in this universe will keep on migrating from one life to another life. And the whole story goes why we have a mithya darshan or wrong types of images we have. So you can just see we have wrong concepts about all the things in the universe. Actually, if you experiment, there is nothing that we think right. Inborn wrong belief. There are 2 types of wrong belief we are described here, which are very important to know, and we might have studied also. but summarize here. One is Grahit Mithyatva and the other is Grahit Mithyatva. False belief, which is there with us from infinite times. Okay. So that is Agrahit. That Agrahit Mithyatva stands that body is the soul. We don't distinguish between body and soul, and they're identical like that. If you feel, then that's a Agrahit Mithyatva. It is there from time, infinite times in the past. And the Grahit one that is told again later on is that in this life, we are born in certain families, we are born in certain communities or some places. And based on those communities and places, we acquire certain habits or certain beliefs. And that belief we think is right. That's the whole problem of this universe. That wherever we are born, we think what our family thinks is the right thing. We don't make a decision. Okay? We don't decide what is right and wrong in terms of universe. Or in simple words, we don't follow what our Tirthankaras have said about the universe, about our own self, about the soul and the path to liberation. But we go by whatever we hear or whatever somebody says on certain platforms and like that. But we don't apply our mind. Please remember, we have to apply our mind to make a decision. Okay? Like if you take an exam as a student, you have to remember, you have to learn and then write it. And then a candidate is passed. But for Jain philosophy or for acquiring such knowledge, we don't have any such type of things. We think that sometimes I think that we decide to take Diksha and we take Diksha, that's all. Nobody to really judge whether you deserve to become a monk and like that. In the same way, all aspects of life. Somebody decide that, yes, I want to do 10 fasts or upvas and like that, or a monthly upvas or whatever yearly thing, then you do it. Nobody judges anybody that whether it is worth doing or not. Anyway, so that kind of a thing, Bina Murati, Chin Murati, so we really don't understand. In one word, it is ignorance about, say, this, the tattvas here, given here, that 7 tattvas here, that live, life, jeev, ajeev, non-living, and like that, we know all those things, and the stoppage and shading and then ultimate liberations. So this knowledge, this is called knowledge, okay? Not what we acquire as habits, okay? This is the basic knowledge. So we have been suffering in this universe because we don't know this. That's what the person is saying the hand, no? That I don't want to understand this. I don't want to understand the 7 tattvas and like that. So if you don't want to understand, that's ignorance, and we continue to move in this universe. In the same way, it is shown here in terms of 6 substances that we don't want to learn. Pudgal, Nav, Dharma, Dharma, Kal. So we don't understand that, we don't learn about them, we don't realize that we exist like this, and we think that we are a different person is walking in a different direction. Okay, in the picture it is shown, the person is walking in a different direction. He is not listening to what our Arant Paramatma or the Tirthankaras have said, and that's why a very simple way it has been explained in terms of this picture, that we are not listening to them, and that's why the whole thing. So like that it goes on, and we are taking much interest in worldly things and like that, and a lot of things have been said. So that's why we remain ignorant about what is being done in the universe and what we have to do. Those kind of things we don't understand, and that's why we remain continuously in this universe. In the third Dhal, the path to liberation is explained. Okay. So we knew that we suffer in all 4 modes of our existence. Charo gatiyon mein we have suffered, and we will continue to suffer. That's for the first part. And in the second part, why we have suffered? Because we don't have a right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Our ignorance is the basic cause for sufferings. Ignorance about what? Ignorance about what Tirthankaras have taught us, or what our scriptures are saying, or that is, of course, is not even proper. Rather, we are ignored of what is happening to us in terms of seven tattvas and our existence vis-a-vis six substances. That part we don't know. And this has been taught by Arhant and others. And so this is how these two chapters are summarized. The third chapter is like a diagnosis. Okay, it tells then what is the problem you have. Okay, what is the disease we have. That's first identified. So in diagnosis, these 6 lines here or 4 lines, whatever, extremely simple and worth following it or remembering it rather. First he says the liberation and path to liberation. That's how this second part starts. First part was sufferings in 1 and 2 chapter. Third part starts with the liberation. How to path to liberation. आत्म को है हित से सुख सो सुख आकुलता बिन कहिए आकुलता शिव माहि न ताते शिव मग लागू चाहिए. The best definition of happiness in Jain philosophy. What is happiness? We think that if we eat well or if we have a good house to live or we have a luxury life, that's a happiness. Or if we smile or something like that, then it is happiness. No. Jain philosophy says that so long if you have anxiety, if you are worrying about something, you are thinking about something, you want to acquire certain things, so your occult anxiety is there, then it is, you are not happy. Siddha Paramatma have no anxiety. Arhant Paramatmas have no anxiety. Our monks reduce anxiety to the bare minimum level, and that's why they are happiness. The definition of happiness, remember if you are new, if you have studied this, very good. If not studied, remember, happiness is absence of anxiety, absence of desires or whatever, and not anything else. And so Siddha Paramatma, Arhant Paramatma, they don't have that kind of anxiety, and that's why they have the supreme happiness, best possible happiness possible in the universe is they are enjoying, and we are unhappy. Unhappy because we have a lot of desires and oculta. So he says that, okay, if that is the thing, then how to remove the oculta? You see how path to liberation is shown in this particular picture, that how on the top of the mountain, Jain monks do meditation and yoga and sadhana, what you are learning. So path to liberation, Shiva Marg, right conduct, right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. These 3 ratnas, they only lead to this higher stage. Very visual presentation of, very good presentation of how the path to moksha lies. So easy to remember, easy to understand. You have to climb up in the same way you can climb up only these kind of 3 beliefs. Then these 4 lines, or rather 2 more lines later, or rather these 4 is enough. The best definition of Samyak Darshan ever found in Jain philosophy, best definition. So many things people will confuse you. Samyak Darshan is this, that, and all those things. Here he says, Pardravyante bhinna apame ruchi samyak pe bhala hai. If you have interest in your own self, if you want to know your own self, you want to know your own soul, then that is Samyak Darshan. That interest, remember, ruchi. If you have an interest in knowing yourself, you are Samyak Darshan. If you have an interest in knowing the other worldly things, about Pudgal and so many other things, then you are not Samyak Darshan. You may know it, but your main interest should be in the ruchi, apne aap mein ruchi ka hona, wo Samyak Darshan hai. Best line, boss, easy to remember. Second point is, what is Samyak Gyan? Then he says that aap roop ko jaan pano. So you know yourself, that is Samyak Gyan. Interest in the soul is Samyak Darshan. Knowledge of the soul is Samyak Gyan. And engrossment in the soul, aap rupa mein leen. You absorb yourself, you concentrate on the self, you meditate on the soul. That is Samyak Charitra. That's how these 3 lines, in a very simple manner, without complicating or without any Sanskrit or other kind of complications or words complications. In a very simple way it is stated, and the best possible and always quoted, these lines are quoted. I repeat once again because it is worth knowing it, and I hope that you remember this. Interest in your own self, that is Samyak Darshan. Knowledge about the self is Samyak Gyan, and engrossment or meditation or focus or getting absorbed in the soul is Samyak Charita. The conduct, you follow the soul, that is the conduct, and that is Samyak Charita. So the simplest possible definition about Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra, which are known as three Ratnas in Jain philosophy, are given here. So these three are explained here in terms of a picture. Okay, that absolute right faith, then absolute right knowledge. The point, of course, it's a short time, but I would like to emphasize is that you cannot have a right conduct without having right faith and right knowledge. That's the essence of this. People think that you do right conduct or adopt a right conduct and things will change. No. Your conduct will not be as it is unless you have right faith. You know yourself, then only you can meditate on it. Then only you can follow it. So there is of course, a group of people without reading scriptures. They always say that, no, Charitra first. Have you implemented? Have you implemented? Do you use it in life? Where do you practice? Are you practicing Jain philosophy? They will ask hundreds of such questions without knowing what they are talking about. It is not practice that is most important. It is the knowledge that is most important. Belief in that knowledge is the most important. But if you have a belief, you will, I always give one some example. If some of you heard me earlier, will say that, okay, fire will get burned. To know that you don't have to really go through it. A human being can always understand that if you put hand into fire, will get burned. So naturally, the conduct will follow. Once you know that fire is dangerous for us, the right conduct will follow. But if you don't know it, and then we may do so many things like that. Anyway, so the point I was trying to make is that this is the crux of the Jain philosophy. So if you're a new student and like that, please try to remember this, that these three Ratnas are there, three essential, three jewels of Jain philosophy. You cannot have right conduct without right faith and right knowledge. Or let me put it some simple way. Right faith gives you the place you have to reach. Suppose you want to reach from Chennai to Delhi, then you should decide, no, if you want to book a train, you should know where you want to go. Destination is most important. After knowing that, you think whether you want to go or not. But I used to give example in Chennai that trains leave for Delhi from Chennai every day. But the day you decide to go to Delhi, that becomes a day for you for a travel. And then you should have the right knowledge, which train to go, where to book, which class to book, which time is good for you, all kinds of things. That knowledge. How to reach is a knowledge. Reaching destination is a right faith. And with that only conduct comes. Then only after deciding, first you book the tickets, first you decide where you want to go, that is right faith. Then you decide how to go. And this happens only sitting at home. You don't have to go to jungle, Miss Diksha. And then only you start embarking on the thing. And the journey is long, okay. It may take some few lives, okay. So this fundamental principle, please remember. And I will not go into detail because of a limitation of time. And then it says that, of course, this 7 tattvas in a tree concept, 7 reals, 7 tattvas have been explained. And these 3 words also you would have heard, this Bhairatam, Antaratam, and Paramatman, like that. So we'll not go into this at the moment, maybe some other time if we get it. So some people say that, okay, household cannot do the path, embark to path to moksha, but it is not so. While staying in a family also, one need not be in a hurry to take Diksha, in my view. Stay home, do as much study as possible, understand what is the path to moksha. And after reading and knowing, acquiring a lot of knowledge, you feel that this is the time to go, then you go. Not just like that, get influenced by somebody saying that, yeah, this is so many bad things in life, get emotional and go there. So it is not like that. This inner self, outer self, one has to study, and then only it is possible to take Diksha and like that. So because our time is short, I will just go there. Then in the fourth one, this third and fourth one, right knowledge on these concepts are explained in greater details and like that. And when we go to fifth chapter, then there is a reference to Bara Bhavana, 12 reflections, which you might have heard or you might have studied. What I want to emphasize is that some beautiful picture, that's why I just trying to show it. In the fourth Dhaalaa, same thing, Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan Charitra, that has been explained. And then in the fifth one, fifth Dhaalaa, 12 contemplations are there, Bara Bhavana. Of course, you may be knowing or you can learn elsewhere, Anitya, Sharan, and so Raja Rana, Chhatrapati, like that. But just read 2 lines and go next one. Muni sakala vrati bad bhagi, bhav bhogan te vairagi, vairagyo pavan mahi, chintavo anupreksha bhai. What is the purpose of these 12 reflections? The purpose of these 12 reflections is that Muni Sakal Vrati Badabhagi, the great monks, no, they are very, very fortunate because they have no interest, they are detached to the worldly life, and they think of these 12 bhavanas or 12 contemplations to increase, to enhance their detachment. So we as a individual also, as a household also, if the 12 bhavanas, Bara Bhavana, they provide a framework. If anything happens, one has to think like that. If say somebody dies, we think that yes, nobody can survive in this universe, everybody has to go someday. If we think that way, the bondage will not take place. But if we no, my relation, he was so great, my friend, sick, so many things like that. If you just start thinking like that, it will create bondage. And this applies to everything. So these 12 bhavanas are like that, and one has to really understand the last line of this one, not last one, but the third one. Chahun gati dukh jeevo bhare, parivartan panch kare, sab vidhi sansar asara, jame sukh nahi lagara. Why I chose this to tell you is that this says that you try to find anything essential or whatever, anything which will give you happiness in this world, it is not possible. There is nothing in this universe or external things which will give you happiness except the focus on the soul. That is the only way one can. So in all the 4 modes and 5 transformations, people do it. But sabvidhi sansara sara, in all dimensions, there is no way this world can be considered as a best place. And so, please, that's what the author says, that don't take interest in these worldly things and waste your life in a kind of a things like that. So then this protection things I thought we can explain with this picture. Dhaalaa. So all these 8 karmas are attacking all the time. So if we think like that, what has been said, particularly about this Bara Bhavana, then it is possible, this one. The Dhal picture is also given, that all the 8 karmas, you can protect yourself only if you meditate on the soul. The picture says that a monk is being shown that If you meditate on the soul, it is possible to protect ourselves. This is the essence of Dhaalaa. This visual picture, I think, will give you the best impression of what this book is all about. That how we can protect ourselves. These will always be there in sansar, or 8 karmas are always there. So if we want to have liberation, we have to protect ourselves from this and then get out of it. And of course, those pictures are given. It's all contemplations. Then in the 6th one, I will just say the one, then leave the other thing. Shatakaya Jeevana Hanadate Sab Vidhi Darab Hinsatari Ragadi Bhava Nivarate Hinsana Bhavit Avatari. The essence of conduct, whatever monks will be doing or households do, the essence is that Shatkaya, these 6 types of life or bodies, whatever is call it, they should not be killed at any cost. Sabhaviri, Dravya Hinsa, we should not do it. And Bhavinsa, Hinsa, violence is of 2 types, Dravya, physical, and second thing is in terms of Bhavas, Ragadi, patience or whatever you call it. So both types of Hinsa, we should not do it. That should be our objective. The essence of Jain philosophy is only this. You all know Ahimsa, Paramo Dharma and all kinds of things that we learn from childhood. But here it is explained that that is the essence of Jain philosophy. So whatever the acts of all the 5 sins we give up, and Panch Mahavrat or Panch Anuvrat, 5 Anuvrat, 5 Anuvrats, and all those things that are explained here later, they are all meant for that kind of things. That basically we give up violence. Okay, all kinds of whatever is practiced in Jain philosophy, all practices are based on avoiding violence. Okay? And so if we Samiti, Gupti, all those pictures, I will not go into detail. Time is running out. So one has to understand that thing. Types of tapasya, all those things, 12 types and things like that. They're all meant austerities. They are meant for fasting. You see, fasting is not for just one word. Fasting is not for fasting's sake, okay? Fasting is to go inward, okay? Upan vas. We reside, vas means residing, okay? You reside near your soul, okay? That's the best thing. So that is upvas, okay? Giving up food is incidental, because if you take interest in food and like that, you cannot concentrate on the soul, okay? So like that, all the tapas, austerities are meant like that, and that is, you have to use the word ahimsa there also, that they are all meant to avoid violence, okay? Whether it is another, but if we just concentrate on food and don't really understand, Madam is doing Barsitap, so she knows better what it is. And we have been discussing for years what is to be done and like that. So anyway, this other thing, it shows this Bhedgyan, which word you should remember always. Pragya Cheni, that's the word used in Samasar and like that. And here also, Parama Peni Subuddhi Cheni means you separate yourself from soul, okay? Sorry, from body. You separate yourself through, not through external things, external austerities, but through buddhi, with your knowledge, with your understanding, with your realization that I am a soul. That makes separation, Bhedgyan, is possible. That is the real Bhedgyan and not others. I have a student who is doing PhD in Bhedgyan with me. So anyway, so that's the thing, that Bhedgyan, how pervasive it is, how it is to be applied everywhere. Okay? And that is Subuddhi Cheni. The word I like is, and where it is to be done, Dari Antar Vedya. It has to be done internally. Okay? It is an internal process. Purification is an internal process. So with Param Peni Subuddhi Cheni, and your cheni, whatever chiseling or whatever instrument you use, has to be so sharp that you are able to understand where is attachment. Actually, it is the attachment and the soul. Those two are to be separated. Body and soul are always different. But it is attachments which is creating problem. It is like a Fevicol which is stuck to the soul, in terms of karmic particles. So we have to chisel out, separate it out, the soul from our all. It is a big subject in itself, but this visual image will give you some idea as to what is to be done. And so how, then of course, in terms of meditation, this word, if you can remember, this last point I'm saying, that what is meditation? So in meditation, there are three things. You cannot do meditation without knowing these three things. Now there are so many classes, and you all know yoga, so popular in this world, without knowing the object of meditation. So there is a subject of meditation on the top. Just as you said, no, objective, destination. So subject of meditation is a state of liberation. State of liberation is the subject of meditation. So one does not know what a liberated soul is like, what the Siddha Bhagavan is like. If it is not known, no meditation will help, no dhyan classes, nothing will help. It will be only wasteful exercise. It may do some good to your health, and like that BP may come down, or sugar and other things may happen. You may calm down, but not path to moksha. And so if we know these three things, what is concentrator, dhyata, dhya, the object, and the dhyan. So all the three get merged. First we try to analyze separately, and the three gets merged in a state of meditation. That is called real meditation, real yoga. Yoga and sadhana, what you call it. It is real yoga here. This has to, the difference, first we have to understand separately, and then the difference has to disappear. That's the only way to achieve. And that's how these all 8 karmas go away, with that kind of things. So how person becomes Arant and Siddha because of this practicing is shown here. Last 2 lines. State of Arant, will not go into details of that. Last line. It is the date of this. Iha rag ag dahe sada tate samamrit seye chir bhaje vishay kashaya abto tyage nijipad beye. Our soul, all of us, for infinite times in the past, this attachments is like fire, raga, ag. It is burning always. So try to extinguish it, try to pacify it, try to reduce it. So at least up now, at least to do it. Okay, now you heard, it is a time to do it. So far we were ignorant, so we did not do it. And then the last line says, before that, Kaha rachu pad mein pad na tero kal mat khaye. Last line. Ab dol hoi sukhi supad rachi dav mat chuke ahe. Last line. Dav mat chuke ahe. Dav means it's the best opportunity available. You are studying Jain philosophy, the best opportunity available in our life. Golden word, best words are not that meaningful. The opportunity that you never had in infinite lives in the past, such an opportunity is available. And so if we lose this opportunity, then we will not be really, we'll be missing a great opportunity and continue to have transmigrations in lives to come. So don't miss it. Do it. Have samyak darshan. Embark on the path of moksha and study well whatever you are being taught. And that will really make us happy in lives to come. Otherwise, we will continue to suffer like others. Don't look at others. Look at what Jinwani says, what the scripture says. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. You have done a great job summarizing it in 1 hour. ये पढ़ाने में हमको इनको 2 महीने लग जाते, 1 महीना लग जाता. आपने Thank you so much, sir. I would like everybody to interact with sir. Now the ball is in your court.
Thank you so much.
So
sir.
can I
Yeah, ma'am.
thank you very much, sir.
मोस्ट
Thank you
इम्पोर्टेंटली
very
जो मुझे अभी फायदा हुआ कि मेरा माइंड बहुत डिस्टर्ब था शिखर जी कॉन्सेप्ट की वजह से, बहुत ज्यादा डिस्टर्ब चल रहा है. लेकिन अभी पूरी छह ढाला ऐसे गो थ्रू हो गई ना, तो मतलब मुनिराजों की फोटो देखते 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 मतलब वो बिल्कुल शिखर जी याद आ रहा था, और ऐसा लग रहा था कि वो कितने शांत है तो मैं क्यों अशांत हो रही हूँ.
Very good,
तो
very good.
12 भावना का चिंतन करूँ, सब कुछ ठीक होगा. तो मेरा माइंड मतलब अपना माइंड सही रहेगा तो बाहर से भी सब कुछ सही होगा. So thank you so much, sir.
Very good, very nice. You put it very well.
Who has heard about this Chhah first time? I want them to respond.
Yeah, ma'am. Myself, Sheetal, I have heard it for the first time, and that too with sir so beautifully. I really got lost in the book and the pictures, and the in very simple manner, sir has explained it. It really touched our heart, ma'am. And that time I was saying to sir that almost in all the lectures, Priya ma'am really misses you a lot. She always mentions your name in her lectures, that my sir, my guru is Jayantilal sir. So I was very, very eagerly waiting to see you, sir. So I'm very happy to see you for the first time. Jai Jinendra, sir.
Thank you, Jai.
And I would like you all to thank him for the Samay Sar, Pravachan Sar, Niyam Sar books.
Yeah,
Salekha
definitely.
book. He's the
Thank you,
author
sir.
of all the
Yes,
4
ma'am.
books.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Really
Thank you,
very
sir.
grateful to you, sir.
We have only seen him at the back of those books. Last page of photograph of sir on that book, and that was a motivation. We think that someday it will come that our photograph will be there on the back page of a book. So that is,
Very good.
and I like the last line, sir, which you said. This is the wonderful opportunity that we are learning Jainism, and probably in many life births, this is the time when we have got this opportunity, and we should not miss. So ये दाव खेलना ही है, ये दाव नहीं छोड़ना है. That is what is important, sir.
Very good.
Yes, others, you all can interact with the scholar.
Yeah, Jai
I would
Jinendra,
like to
sir.
thank Jayantilal sir. Sir, as Sheetal said, we've heard so much about you, and now with all, like we are, I mean, we obviously nobody hears of a validation, but here, I mean, it's over and beyond words could express your teaching and your just the way you are, and really grateful to you to spend this time for us and summarize this. You know, I've never heard of Chhah. This is the first introduction and first face-to-face on this text. And it's a very simple text from your explanation, very simple. And it actually makes you resonate with what you actually are here for and why we need our existence. What is our existence for and how we need to improve on it. And I really thank you on behalf of everyone that it was really a great opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you, sir.
I actually had a question while you were explaining. I had put up my hand. So, you know, you mentioned about the right knowledge of the 9 tattvas or the 7 tattvas and the 6 dravyas as the base, as the foundation of moksha marg. So, and the not understanding as mithyatva. And that kind of detriments you from moving forward. Would that be grahit mithyatva or would that be agrahit mithyatva?
No, it is not knowing is ignorance, of course, and grahit is what you learn in this life. No? You learn some other things and not these tattvas. No? That becomes a grahit.
Right, sir. So then the tattvas and the dravyas you mean are grahit, are from this life?
No. That if you understand them well, it is not. Let me put it this way.
I think I'll frame her question that if you understand the 7 tattvas and Shadravya in a wrong way, will it amount to grahit mithyatva? She's asking.
Yes, sure.
So ignorance towards the 9 tattvas and the Chhah dravyas is grahit or agrahit? That's actually my question. Sorry.
Yeah, Madam has put it very well. So what I want to say that is that in 6 dravyas and 7 tattvas, if soul is not at the center, okay, then it is a grape only. You just
Right.
learn names and like that. If you
Right.
put ourselves at the center, okay, then I am a soul, and this is whatever I am occupying certain space, Akash, and I have been there in this life for so many years like that. Like that, if you understand the 6 substances, if I raise the hand, it is Dharmastika's work, and if I sit a stationary state, it is a Dharmastika. Like that, if you keep soul at the center, and then learn 6 dravyas and like that. And then similarly, tattvas also, that if I'm thinking wrong way, it will be a influx of karma. There will be bhavasra and then dravyasra and like that. And if I concentrate on the soul, apply to yourself. That's why I said apply to yourself. I use that word 2-3 times, I repeat it. We should apply to ourselves and see. So if I'm thinking like that, then asara is taking place. If I think of soul, samvar takes place, nirjara takes place. And if I get completely absorbed in the self, moksha takes place. So apply to yourself, okay? Apply the mind, okay? Apply the mind.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So actually, this becomes a really great point of contemplation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, my last question, after having done this work for so long, have you ever been really absorbed in your pure soul and got the experience, sir?
Oh, this is very, very
No, I actually want someone to tell me the real experience, like
so I can tell you so much of experiences, but to say that I have experience or not, that's a difference.
Oh,
In Jain philosophy, we don't ask that question. It is a highly personal question.
okay. No, but if you want to understand what is the absorption of soul, if you want to understand
how the experience is like.
Yeah, that
how the experience is like. Yes, we can have classes and classes on.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So maybe that paves the way for another lecture.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what kind of experiences? Yeah.
Ma'am, one question from my side.
How to experience. Yeah.
Yes, Rahul.
Jayantilal sir, thank you so much. Since I have been, when I'm listening today, the Chhadalas from you, the essence, I have heard it this Chhadala when I was very small, but today I revised it along with you. And I understand the one quote beautifully from your word, from your presentation, that the true happiness lies when you have the absence of anxiety. And I think this is the best thing that I can learn in today's world of corporate where I'm working. So where from the morning to the evening I have the anxiety of many things. So if I've just suppressed that, and then I think we can understand the true happiness. This is the best statement. I like it. And definitely the way you represent all the 6 dhals, it's gave us a quick revision for me also after long years. Thank you so much, sir.
Good, very good.
Yes, anybody else?
Jai Jinendra sir, this is Shobha here.
Yes.
And it's after a while, this is continuing Jain education for us actually. Thank you so much for a very comprehensive talk on Chhadala, because we did Chhadala in Paramagam Honors course last semester, and it was a long study, of course. But, one takeaway for me is how beautifully you summarized it and given that whole book in 1 hour, and so clearly and comprehensively. And you started off with a great beginning by condensing it and saying first chapter and second chapter is this, second and third. The simplicity with which you did that is what is the great catchy thing in this actually. And this is something that we all, I think at least I need to learn. And the other thing is the biggest lesson that I'm learning again and again and again is this Veda Vigyan, that is, learn that your soul is different from the body, and actually at every given moment of whatever is happening, which we know is wrong, the first thing that comes to my mind is I should think that my soul is different from my body and mind. That is, and that sort of brings it back again and again to a good, better understanding of our conduct, actually. And the way you said it just now, it sort of reinforces, and it has got into my, like in Tamil they say Pasumaratani Pola, like that. It has impressed. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
What can you translate what you told in Tamil?
Impression on a young tree. You know, when you do some carving or an impression on a young tree, it stays, and it can never be erased. Actually, it's forever, eternal impression. They say pasu maratte. Pasu means tender. Maram is tree. Tender tree. May.
Thank you. Shubha,
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Anybody else? See, it's well past 9:07. If sir can stay for some time, we'll engage. Otherwise, we'll close.
Yeah, no, I have no problem. Because I misunderstood in the morning, so that's why I said the time is a problem.
Yeah, sir was ready in the morning at 8 o'clock and he called up, sir, when is the meeting? I said, sir, it's a PM and not AM. I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I was lost
yeah.
in some other thoughts. So,
Yes. See, we are all mad about the subject, you know. So anytime you tell us, we are ready. Is anybody else who would like to interact with sir? Okay, anybody else who is...
Ma'am, one small request. Is sir going to write about Panchastikaya? The book?
As of now, we are planning a book on logic. But he suggested to do Panchastikaya also.
I was having mine on Panchastika only, but in terms of priority, we thought first we'll do the on logic, then Panchastika.
We look forward to it.
Sir has submitted a project proposal and we have submitted to the university. We are just waiting, and then we'll be taking up the project work, and he'll be authoring a book on Jain logic, which will be a resource help in the coming years.
Thank you.
Yes, that's it for today. Can we call it a day? Can we call it a day? How many of you enjoyed? I know you all have been giving your review, but are you going to, sir, I would request you to tell them where this book is available, sir, so that they all can purchase a copy and read it with their families.
This particular book is available, of course, online also it is available. Otherwise, in Mangalayatan place, no, Mangalayatan Tirthadam, it is published from there. And it will be available in most introduction, Smarak or thing like that.
Yeah. So I request you all to get a copy of this book and gift it to as many people as you can and read it again and again and again. It's a beautiful text. Anybody who reads it will love it.
With pictures, it has become very easy to explain. That's the thing.
Yes.
Ma'am, one small request to you also, that if we can add the Dhaalaa as one of our subject in the genealogy, whenever it is possible, maybe as a elective also.
Yes,
Surely,
ma'am.
we'll try to do it. We'll take your suggestion, Rahul.
Yeah, ma'am. I agree with him. This is a very important book. If we can add,
we'll straight away add it. We'll straight away put it in the upcoming school meeting, and we can recommend. So whenever the university tells us to revise the syllabus, we will revise it and we'll make this addition.
Ma'am, one humble request, ma'am. अभी जितना भी time हमारा last semester के लिए है, please arrange sir lecture, sir. We would love to listen from him, ma'am. We won't get this opportunity again, no, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I would request you to take the Yoga and Sadhana paper for them. If you can take weekly one class. If you can take, I would like to.
Yes, madam. Yes, sir.
I would like to be quiet.
Weekly once is okay, no problem.
So you all don't mind, sir, taking the class for you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
For us,
so, yeah. So beginning from, actually their classes on Monday, sir.
Monday.
This Monday I'll
If
finish.
any other day is possible, we can work around it.
Yeah, ma'am. Even
Yes.
if you take on Monday, we can take sir's lecture on any other day if you wish.
It will be evening, no? It will be evening.
Evening. They have their class 7:30 to 9:30, 2 hours. So you can take a break of 10 minutes.
Okay.
You may not be able to talk continuously for 2 hours. It may be difficult. So
Yes,
you can take
sometimes.
a 10 minutes break and then
Hmm.
catch up.
Ma'am, can
So-
we also attend?
Yeah. You all can attend. You all can
Please
attend.
send us the link and
Sure, ma'am.
See, the link is always there. No, sir, Shobha madam is a guest faculty now in the department.
Yeah, I
All
know.
the links are right in
Yeah.
front of her.
Right, right.
The same link. That
So,
she took
sir, we'll take a yes from you.
Yeah, no problem. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Priya ma'am is out and sir is in. I can rest.
No,
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 ma'am, I'm
no,
waiting.
no, no.
No,
ma'am can
Priya
never
ma'am,
be
we're
out.
waiting. Ma'am, I'm waiting for the class to end. Then you see what I attacked.
Yes, ma'am. We'll tell you later. The stories.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So what
But
I would
anyway,
suggest
no
is, sir,
problem.
if you cannot take 2 hours, you can take 1 hour. And you know the syllabus. I'll send you the PDF
Yeah,
of the notes.
you have to send.
I'll send you the PDF of the notes. And these notes are shared by sir, not notes as such. Sir ke lecture ko base rakh karke Varsha Beh that prepared those notes. So one of you share the PDF, we'll share it with sir, and sir will look at it and he will continue. I'm happy about that. Sir will be